Bonjour, welcome to the Notorious DID. I am Valkyrie. My topic today that I've chosen is DID and social media. Should you be skeptical? The easy answer to that is yes, you should always be skeptical and have questions about anything. We believe, or I do anyway, that you should always question everything. Do not take everything at face value, because after all, it is social media. Is everything on the internet true? Of course not. All I need to say is one word: catfish. And this applies, there should be nothing else to be said. Are there DID catfish? Absolutely, I'm sure. Persons pretend to be something they are not because they feel they're seeking glory through doing so, or have a misconception of dissociative identity disorder, that it's something to grab onto as ride the train of whatever they're assuming it is. It makes it difficult for those of us who do have DID. So are there people who fake having DID? Of course there are. Just like there are people who say they're somebody and they are not. It is no different other than the fact that these parties that are doing this are really affecting a community of those who do have dissociative identity disorder. Do they care? Probably no. Otherwise, they would not do it in the first place. They do not care. I have heard parties, and I'm not going to tell specifically who they are, because they do not deserve the views or the checking into the interest. They do not deserve this. Those who are falsifying that they have DID know who they are. We, like many others, are on the internet. We see many things in relation to DID. I would say that what I'm about to tell you does not mean necessarily that the party does not have DID. But these are the things that in particular I look for to say, maybe I should question if this person does or no. And maybe because this frustrates me very much when people are portraying that they have DID and they do not. It is not something to emulate. It is like past videos we made about movies. The misconceptions and the way that it is portrayed in a movie is almost sickening as far as I'm concerned, because it makes everybody believe, oh, you are a character among yourselves and you are dangerous, and it's nonsense. Nonsense. I have seen people throughout the internet that have can you get emotional when you are videoing about dissociative identity disorder? Absolutely. You can get very emotional about different things to do with your life because you're a human. However, there are certain things that I look at when I see these people ranting and screaming, and they sound like they're going to cry, and it's just I don't want to have this, I don't like this. Well, nobody wants to have it. That much is true. But these parties, they sound like they're going to cry, and they're so upset, and blah, 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 blah. And yet, not one tear. No one tear. Another thing that I have that's a pet peeve of mine in particular, it annoys and aggravates me. As I mentioned, a personal pet peeve of mine, Bapre, is when I hear everybody quoting from a book. Not everybody, but it's certain parties. Quoting from a book, primarily, about what dissociative identity disorder is. Everybody can read a book to know this much. But constant, it's this, it's that. You sound like a professor when you talk. This is, I've seen several parties always depend on or relying on the facts out of a book that psychiatrists have written. I have a certain amount of respect for the professionals. However, they do not have their information is based on a conglomerate of what they've encountered, and not even necessarily specifically the professional that you are seeing yourself. So the writings, some of it is just theory. They believe this is the way it goes and what it's from and so on and so forth. Nobody can go inside your mind and your head and say 1,000%, this is what is, this is how it goes, this is what goes, this is a straight line. There is nothing set in stone when you have dissociative identity disorder. It frustrates me, I can tell, I'm sure you can tell, my voice is elevating. It frustrates me no end when parties are quoting from a book, trying to say, well, read up on it, read this and read. That's fine to give you a general idea, but just remember, every single person that has DID has a different situation, has a different encounter with everything. How do you learn about DID? You listen to and watch parties that genuinely have the disorder. I'm not going to mention specific names as I said, but I also came encounter recently with someone on TikTok that says, oh, 1,000% DID is nothing more than extreme PTSD. No. No. DID would not have its own signification, and it has to do with dissociation. PTSD, those who have PTSD do not necessarily dissociate. They are two separate disorders. Can you have both? Absolutely. Because a lot of parties that have DID have also other components of whether it be ADHD, OCD. You can throw all these different initials out there. But don't go out into the world and tell the world, this is this and this. Read the books better. And in this particular party, when I called them out on it, they say, well, go read the yellow book. The yellow book. It's in the yellow book in their psychiatrist's office. Well, good for you. What yellow book? Is that as specific as you can be? You're dishing out all this information that you say is true, but all you can say is a yellow book? Because there's only one yellow book in the whole world. That's it. This same party said, oh, in their psychiatrist's office, there is, that information is listed under dissociative identity disorder. That it's in that information that it is just extreme PTSD. I call bullcrap. And if you want to be specific, which this party was no, while they're busy dishing out all of this stuff, and unfortunately, I see a lot of people eating it up with both hands because they're, ooh, this person, definitely, I'm getting all this misinformation, is what you're getting. If you want to go buy a book, which I no do, because I'm living it, why do I need to quote a book? Why do I need to tell you, go read a book? What good is that book going to do you when you encounter it's not going to tell you what that specific individual is going through. It's not going to tell you what that specific individual's alters are, or how they're reacting to things, or nothing else. Because their mind is intricate. You can't find that in a book. You're not going to find that in a book. As you can do yourself. I can look it up and tell you, well, here we go. Dissociative Identity Disorder, DID, DSM-5, 300.14, in brackets, F441, 0.81. What does this mean? That's where you find it in a psychological manual. What good is that doing for a lot of the psychiatrists? Not much, because there are still a lot of them that are unfamiliar with anything to do with it. Why is this? Because the information is gathered, but it is also perceived by different individuals with a degree. Well, if we're going to go there, we might as well go all the way. Because the initial perceptions were that a party was possessed, which we are not possessed. Opinions are like, you know what? And rather it be a professional opinion or an individual opinion does not necessarily make it 1,000% true. Please remember this when you are going through the massive amounts of information that's being put out there that's wrong. And don't necessarily, if I tell you something, I hope you listen and you understand something better. That's my goal. However, I'm human. Always go and investigate it yourself if you want to know more. If you want to know something, don't look at it from one standpoint. Don't look at it from TikTok. Don't look at it from specifically YouTube. Don't look at it from all these social media outlets and say, well, I really, really like this person, which is good for you. I hope so. I hope you like us. But in the same token, that is one person or one party, one system's DID. Everyone's is different. If somebody keeps throwing words at you that are big, beautiful words out of a psychological book, and they can quote what a psychologist would say or what a psychologist would think. Hooty-doody. I don't care. That psychologist is no in here with us. He's no in my body. Nope. So that psychologist can only give me an educated guess. They cannot tell me what I am going through or what is going on in our particular system and override what is actually happening. And if this is so, if you are so easily manipulated, and this is for those who unfortunately may have DID, but if you're so easily manipulated by what one party may tell you, possibly a professional can help you. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm also talking about there are a lot of people that talk out the back of their butt. And you live and breathe it. Remember, they are no going through what you're going through. They are no able to tell you anything more than what has been assessed over grouping of information. That's all. Everything is perception. Whoever wrote this or whoever wrote that or whoever thought this, it's all individual perception. So are there errors? Absolutely. Are there people out there that's unfortunately faking this? Absolutely. I tend to definitely, if you're going to tell me your particular circumstances and what you're going through and things like this, wonderful. I will tell you, a lot of those parties that are shoving psychological jargon and books down your throat, basing their life and their information on it, a lot of these people are full of hooty-doody. Because they think that they can throw a bunch of big words around, they can pull supposed information that they have from a book, and they can pass it off and say, yes, we have a system, we have DID, blah, 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 blah. No. I tend to look at those people very, very closely when I scrutinize, because there's nothing that can be written down to explain every single thing or to make it better or to change most of what takes place with degenerative excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me reel that back in, because I felt a little dissociative, but I'm not sure why I didn't. Anyway, pardon. These parties, they should go be a professor. If you're going to quote from a book, if you're going to try and teach people from a book, go be a professor. There's nothing in writing that's going to work for everybody. If it works for anybody, I don't know. Because I only believe what I encounter. Period. I got to calm it down a little bit, because I think my getting aggravated about these other parties and the nonsense that they do kind of put me in a little bit of a dissociation realm, which I'm trying to pull myself back out of. Breathe. I will tell you, a lot of people who are doing this, they want to give all the textbook information because then they can be listed as an education channel. They can be listed as educational or education channel. What does this do? Well, in the end, these parties can generate more revenue by being a learning channel than just being under other specific. I mean, you can look it up and you can tell yourself. You go into Google and look up the different money scales for what a person is listing for their channel, and this, there you go. We do know, unless I am doing something specific, that is like a prior, when we did the DID awareness, we did the history of DID. This I put under education because this is specifics, this is facts that are gathered. When we do ours, I do not have it under education because it is more of a journey, a life journey for us to become aware and for us to learn about ourselves and for others to learn and become aware of what the idea is. I am no putting specifics based on dollars because this is our life. This is what we have to go through. In the end, if we can monetize and things like this, great. But there's so many components to DID that if you don't get a grasp on it or hold on it in some way, then it can swallow you. No matter who, you being an author, another author, whoever, it can swallow you as a group and go completely out of control. So I also saw, which I would like to address, another thing on TikTok. I will not mention the party, but I did see in the comment section they were referring because the person had a day in their life with the DID. Okay, this particular video that I watched had the party as their altars changed, they changed clothes. So throughout the day, they changed clothes, they changed makeup, they changed, is this realistic? I'm not saying they don't have it, but I'm saying if every single time you change out, even if you are an individual alter, which you are, if you change out and you go, first thing you do is run and go change your clothes and oh, I got to make sure you know it's me. I got to put on my hat backwards and I got to do this and I got... No. No. Because when we come about, I specifically speaking for myself, when I come about, I've got that initial fog. There's an initial fog where you've got to be like, okay, where are we? What do we do? What do we need to go forth from here? What specifically? Because a lot of times, it may take you a second through this vision and the transference to even acknowledge the fact you are who you are. There's a certain amnesia component to it, everything to do with uh, dissociation. Excuse me. So we would be literally, that's all our day would be. Putting makeup on, taking makeup off, putting this on, putting that off. And to be genuine about it, we have no clue as to how long we're actually going to be in place. What are we more concerned about? That I've seen that we're more concerned about for the most part. We're more concerned about being aware of what's going on. We're more concerned about, some of us who don't get out that much are more concerned about absorbing what they can when they're out. Enjoying what they can when they're out. Take Mia for instance, she loves music. And she's no worried about what we've got on, what the body's got on, I should say. She's more interested in looking and running to see what's out now, what's going on. I want to hear this, I want to hear that. Things that you enjoy or things that you want to know and things that you want to... It's not just no. Just no. And genuinely, who has a wardrobe for each altar? Yeah, that's a very good question, isn't it? So this would be another thing that arises that I say, there are a lot of things that you can say, about. Is it bad to be skeptical? Absolutely no. Because there are those who are not genuine. So it's good to be skeptical so that you can maybe view and acknowledge those who are genuine. Honesty does not come through every single human. Remember this. If you enjoy the show that some are putting on, well then enjoy that. But when you go for answers to see genuinely what people with DID encounter and what they go through and things of this nature, then make sure that you are informed when you choose who you want to watch. Is important. I am sure throughout this video as well, changing the subject a little, you've probably been wondering what's going on with my hair. Well, I did wash my hair, and when I washed my hair, I put it in braids so that it can retain the curl better. So I put it in braids and then I put it in a clip. So my hair is just nice and clean and is drying in the braids. I know it doesn't look... I'm not going to win any beauty shows today. But there you go. Genuine life. We don't all wake up looking like movie stars. Some of us don't ever wake up looking like movie stars. But it's a good thing we can be happy with what we have. As an alter, you have to be happy with who you are. Because technically, the body does not really reflect you. So, there's another food for thought. Just with the little marbles that roll around in my head. So, we appreciate you coming to listen to us. I personally do. If you would please like, subscribe and share. Hit the notification bell so you can join us. We attempt to get a video out every single day. This helps us keeping up with who's who and what's going on, and different topics that are important to cover, we try to cover. So please do join us here with the Notorious DID community. I genuinely thank you. I have been Valpre. Adios.